And so the Ashokan 7th edict basically says that despite all these differences, you've got to live together, not just in the same territory, not back to back, but face to face and encounter one another. And that was one command or one wish or one desire that he had, that if you translate it into contemporary terms, that there shouldn't be any quote unquote ethnic cleansing, and there should not be segregation and ghettoization, but people should live mixed together as mixed populations, rather than split into homogeneous units within the same empire. And the next question that he rose, which was extremely important, was how this could be possible, what the common foundation could be, and he felt that this is something that is to be found as significant in every kind of philosophical and religious perspective, that it's available from, in all, and that would be that will form the core of dhamma. And then he asked what the content of this dhamma would be, and among the things that he mentioned as something which he found was central was what was called in the edicts vacha gutti, which is the artful control of tongue in a society where people's words stumbled out of people's mouths effortlessly and carelessly. And so the main task before people, if they were to realize the objective of living together, was restraint of speech, which is what vachagutti means. And the next question that arises, of course, is restraint on which kind of speech? Which speech must be regulated and controlled? And here the Ashokan edicts come up with absolutely wonderful answers. He says, the edicts say that you can be critical of the other. If you find something, if you live in a heterogeneous society, if you live with others' viewpoints, it's impossible to endorse everything that they believe in or that they say. You will find things to be critical of. But even if you're critical of them, do it only if you have good reason to be critical. And then he says, but even if you have good reason to be critical, do it only on appropriate occasions, not on inappropriate occasions. But even if you have good reasons, and even if you have an appropriate occasion, do it moderately, never immoderately. Now, there is, of course, a great deal of moral wisdom in this. An edict had just stopped here. One would have thought of it as a great piece of advice, as something of great value to live by. But actually, the Ashokan edicts don't stop there. Ashokan edicts then go on to say that one should not praise one's own belief system or practices or teachings unless one has a good reason to. Even if one has good reason to praise oneself, one should do it only on appropriate occasions. And even when the occasion is appropriate, one should never do it immoderately, always immoderately. And there are very interesting things that are said afterwards, within the same edict. The Ashokan edicts say that if you were to glorify yourself, then that is another way of belittling others, of humiliating others. But not only that, it's a way of diminishing yourself, because by doing so, you lose the capacity to enrich your own self. And how does one do that? He says that everybody, in a sense, he points to the idea that we are all incomplete in some ways, and that in order to enrich ourselves and to complete ourselves, we need to mutually communicate with one another all the time. And it's only through this mutual communication and through being open to listening to others, by becoming a bahushruta, to be a good listener to a plurality of voices, speakers. Only when you do that, that you enrich your own the understanding of your own perspective, and contribute to the overall growth of dhamma, which is the common foundation or the essentials of all perspectives, philosophical, religious, faith, or whatever you might call them.